Okay, we are still under the electronic commerce and internet, still talking about digital content, entertainment, and services. Portals, as I mentioned earlier, it is becoming very popular, especially nowadays, that provide comprehensive entry point for huge array of resources and services on internet. Yeah, there are many super sites or very popular websites such as Google search, Yahoo, and many other sites, yeah, which is very popular. Facebook with huge digital content, YouTube, yeah, YouTube. Uh, these sites are having huge or various types of digital content that pulls the crowd, huge crowd. For example, like YouTube, they upload millions of videos in a minute, yeah, worldwide or globally. Uh, the other digital content, also known as syndicators, which consists of aggregate content or application from multiple sources, package them for distribution, and resell them to third-party websites. Those are another types of websites or e-commerce. We can call that as a type of services available over the internet or over the e-platform. Yeah, so this is like an agent where they collect contents or application from multiple sources. They do repackage for distribution, and then they make money out of that. Yeah, this is like agent, but online agent, digital agent. The other type of e-commerce is also what we call pure play business model, basically purely on internet, based purely on internet, do not have brick and mortar portion of business, meaning no more physical business, purely on internet. Yeah, example are given to you: Amazon.com, eBay, YouTube, and so on. There is no physical office or business sites. What they have is only digital platform. And other big players like Microsoft.com, Google.com are moving into this direction, where they are either shrinking or closing down all their physical, or we call brick and mortar portion of business, and becoming fully digital, fully digital. Click and mortar models, just for your information, internet presence is extension of brick and mortar businesses. Some corporate companies or businesses still having both, but mostly moving into the internet rather than just uh, either both of them or just by having brick and mortar businesses. Examples are like LL Bean, Office Depot, Wall Street Journals, and so on. There are many, yeah, many others that you can look for. Okay, this slide is important. This slide tells you different types of e-commerce. Generally, yeah, at very high level, there are three major e-commerce categories. There are three major e-commerce categories. One is known as a B2B, B to consumer, yeah, B to consumer. The first one is B to consumer, the largest one, B2C, yeah. Then we have the second category, B2B, and then the third category, C2C. So it's quite easy to remember: B2C, B2B, and C2C. Beside these three major, of course, the largest one is B to consumer or business to consumer, where we are using all this. We are part of that. Business to business is between the business players to another business players, corporate to corporate, or company to company. Consumer to consumer is very small group, a very small community. Like in Malaysia, we have Muda.my, consumer to consumer. In your back home countries, definitely you have many similar e-commerce type. Yeah, they are e-commerce. And then we have another types of e-commerce which is known as m-commerce, which stand for mobile use of handheld wireless devices for purchasing goods and services from any location. That is what is known as m-commerce. So what e-commerce allow us to do, like what we have been talking from the beginning, it provides us interactive marketing and some kind of personalization or customization. Yeah, so we have been talking about this, so I don't have to go into very much detail. Also, it allows us to do what we call collaborative filtering, where we can do comparison in terms of data, information, and then we can make a decision based on the comparison that we have done from site to site, from one web page to another web page. So just give me a minute, let me check. Okay, all right, so it allows us to do collaborative filtering. In the next slide, what you can see is an example of what they call website visitor tracking by some of the companies. One of the features which is available over the internet for them to do visitor tracking. How they do personalization is available on your next slide. Customization, for example, this is just an example of website personalization between the user and the website, so that they can pay attention or more focus into the consumer or into you, so that you have a better so-called experience, experience with that particular site. So e-commerce also allow customers to achieve close relationship, by having, for example, corporate blogs, where can be used as new channel for reaching customers, maintaining existing customers. So there are many similar features or even new tools are available today. Definitely most of us, or globally, we are using WeChat, or we are using WhatsApp for the same purpose. More interactive, real time, convenient, fast. And WhatsApp is one of the same goes to WeChat. These are considered as a super tools, amazing tools, which are built in with so many features. You don't see a limitation or weaknesses, and a number of users are running into billions. Everyone is happy, and this is an example of how internet or the social media has changed the way we do things, the way we run businesses. Quite similar to those days when we have these corporate blogs, or when the corporate blogs was introduced. In the next slide, you can see there is another interactive session for you to take a look or to consider during your open discussion. It is about Stonyfield Farm blogs for organic communication. So please go through it, and you can discuss among your friend, among yourself, and if you need my help, let me know. The other services or features built in or available on the e-commerce is what we call customer self-service. So these websites and email used to answer customer questions or to provide customer with product information, reducing need for human customer support experts. And definitely you are aware today these features has been replaced with robots, or we call chats, botnets and bot chats and so on, where it is available on that particular website. So the moment you log in or you visit any particular website, you will see the chat, yeah, will appears or automatically pops up and start communicating with the visitors or with the users. New products or new software products can integrate web with customer call centers, so that the session can be interactive. So this definitely will give a very good experience and communication, yeah, between the seller and buyer. An example of postage rate calculator features that built in onto this page to serve the customers, and there are many more features or similar features available today that you can experience yourself. Under the B2B, business to business electronic commerce or e-commerce, there is a one category of business which is known as a EDI, electronic data interchange, was introduced many years ago, where it is being used between the business to business communication for automatically to exchange standard business documents, for example, invoices, delivery, DOs, receipt, notification, acknowledgement, and so on. So when let's say there is a communication between the distributors and retailers, or manufacturers and distributors and so on, there will be a lot of documents. So instead of physical or hard copies, now all these are happening in the form of digital. So for that purpose, they are actually onto the B2B e-commerce platform. Only when it comes to retailer and customer, or manufacturer and customer directly, that's where we are on business to consumer platform. This is between business to business. Each major industry has its own EDI standard. Internet use increasingly for EDI instead of private networks. So everyone is really moving into internet for many reasons. One of the reasons is cost is definitely cheaper, and they don't really expect a real-time responses. Online is good enough, and also the security over the public internet is getting better, is getting improved compared to those days. So it is reasonable for them to do the business over the internet instead of expensive VPN or private network. Internet broadens circle of trading partners, because when you do business over the internet, there is no limit, or you can communicate with the global. So that is another advantage, for the businesses or for the corporate. So that's another reason why they do over the internet instead of private network. An example of EDI is what you can see on your next slide, where there is a supplier system and firm system. A lot of shipping data are being exchanged between these businesses over the EDI, payment data, production and inventory requirement, continuous replenishment, and so on. Of course, they have their own list of issues: infrastructure, security, standards, controls, and so on. But there are more benefits compared to issues and limitation or weaknesses. That is the reason why EDI is being used over the many years, and it is successfully supporting all these business to business platform. Continue on with our discussion is on private industrial network, also known as private exchanges. This is more to where you are doing businesses or communication over the VPN, for example. Large firm using extranet to link to its suppliers and other key business partners. Remember, I hope you still remember that we talk about internet, intranet and extranet. Extranet is where you're uh, having collaboration or communication with your suppliers, your third party uh, entities or parties, to support your businesses or involved in your businesses, such as those who are dealing with logistic, suppliers, manufacturers, and so on. So they don't use public internet, or we don't give them intranet because they are not your employees, but they are third parties. So we include them, or we provide them with a facility which is known as a extranet. It's a different platform, but it is still protected between you and the third parties. So we call this private industrial network. Privately owned by buyer, permits firms and suppliers, distributors, partners to share uh, any data and information necessary for the business. For example, product design and development. This can be considered as a high priority or secret of the company or the business. So, preferable communication channel is VPN or private network instead of public. Marketing information, production scheduling, inventory management related information, unstructured communication, for example, any ad hoc meeting, communication, briefing, and so on. So all this can be done over the what we call private industrial network, over the digital platform, over the B2B platform, which is secure, protected, safe. An example is here. You have the distributors, firm, and communicating through the B2B over the EDI or over the private industrial network with the suppliers. Moving on under the same topic, e-commerce. We have another type of what we call services available over the e-commerce, which is known as a net marketplaces, or it is more popularly known as a e-hubs. Hubs. It is an internet-based marketplace for buyers and sellers. Industry-owned or independent, intermediary, may establish prices through online negotiation, auction, request for quotation or fixed price, generate revenue from transaction and other services, may focus on direct goods or indirect goods, may serve vertical or horizontal markets. So there are many such businesses are available. E-hailing, also can be considered. E-hubs, an example, where they do everything over the internet. So this is another example of e-commerce type of industry or business over such a digital platform. An example of net marketplace, where normally they deal with or they distribute, for example, or they carry on their business by using catalog, sourcing, internet sourcing, automated purchasing, using online purchase requisition, automated purchasing requisition, PR, processing and fulfillment. There are many types of transactions that can be automated with the help of software, SAP, Oracle, and so on, CRM. There are many softwares available for the purpose. So this is just another example of business over the internet, over the digital e-commerce platform. Another example of business over the e-commerce platform is what they call exchanges, independently owned by third-party net marketplaces, connect thousands of suppliers and buyers for spot purchases. Many provide vertical market for single industry, primarily deal with direct goods, proliferated during early years of e-commerce, but many have failed due to competitiveness, driving prices down, yeah, price competition, and so on. Many have changed into public internet domain, like what we have today, but there are still some still surviving on this platform. Just another example, yeah, just another example of e-commerce platform or business. Example of food trader, yeah. M-commerce services and application, which is very popular even until now. There are many M-commerce services and applications available over your mobile devices. It's very popular in Europe, Japan, South Korea, and today I would say almost in every countries. Yeah, every countries. Banking and financial services, they are using M-commerce as well, where most of the banking and financial services having their mobile based application, in order to do transaction, and it has full functionality as the desktop or as you walk into the bank. So this really push everyone away from the bank, where you can do most of the transaction over the mobile services, except when you really need the cash withdrawal, then you need to go to the ATM machine. Other than that, everything else is being provided by the mobile services, which is another popular e-commerce platform or application. Wireless advertising, where you can see wireless service providers providing advertisement or contents for local restaurants, movie theaters on cell phone and Wi-Fi devices. Games and entertainment, that's another digital platform. Yeah, we are talking everything about digital now. Yeah, wireless portals. There are many wireless portals available today. So the next slide basically sharing with us the sales from the global m-commerce, or we call it revenue. Yeah, of course the data is quite outdated, is continuously to increase tremendously into very high numbers at present, and expecting to be more in the future. Some of the challenges, not really big issues or problems, but some can be considered or can be discussed further, and also you can look into what are the challenges or issues that we have today. Some of the issues or challenges here are really minor, which has overcome or considered not an issue or challenges anymore at present. For example, keyboard and screens becoming smaller and smaller, tiny. So some individuals might find it difficult to use, but it is not really a big issue because everyone get used to it, become very familiar. So it's not an issue anymore. Data transfer speed, yes, those days it was a problem. Today we have 3G, 4G, and we are moving into 5G. Definitely this problem will be taken care. Time-based connection fees, I think that services is kind of dying off or not available. Everyone is moving into unlimited kind of services today, and the cost of connecting to internet or using internet is getting cheaper and cheaper due to the improvement in infrastructure, the improvement in many other areas. Yeah, so that is really bringing new opportunities, new way of connecting to the internet and using of the internet. Limited memory and power supplies also, I don't think is a issue now anymore, has been overcome with lot of new technologies and so on. Some of the challenges here, like what I said, is quite outdated. So please be careful when you consider this. I suggest you always look into internet or latest white papers or journals for more updated or recent information instead of yeah, outdated information. Because as I shared very much earlier, IT is changing fast, moving fast, so there are a lot of new information, updated informations are available today over the internet, over the white papers. So please take some initiative to go through, to browse through them and start making use of them rather than purely depending on the slides here. Other types of electronic payment before we end our session, the first session for today, we do have digital card payment system, which all of you are very familiar, and we do have digital wallet, and a lot of digital wallet today are known as e-wallets, where every apps or corporate companies or those who are doing businesses over the internet are introducing, instead of using traditional or conventional method of paying, they prefer to use digital wallets or e-wallets for making payments and so on. There is another system, e-commerce payment system available, which is known as a micro payment system, which is still available but not as popular as e-wallet or digital wallet. Yeah, this is for purchases of less than $10, for example. They call that micro payment systems. Digital cash, which is quite popular. Many organizations or entities are using this, so you can consider that as well as another e-commerce payment system. Peer-to-peer payment system serve people who want to send money to vendors or individuals, but today we can do this over many types of, or make use of any online available payment system. Digital checking payment system, electronic check, yeah, that is electronic check is also available as another option for the online payment system. Electronic billing, especially when they provide services, nowadays they encourage you to migrate from paper-based into e-billing. E-billing, that's another payment system which is getting very popular. Yeah, so digital payment system for m-commerce, for mobiles, as you guys are aware of, today we are making all kind of payments either through credit card or through some kind of online payment, and there are many service providers for the online payment, as you are aware of. E-wallet, for example, is one example, and this continue going to be more and more popular in the future. So I think with that I have covered